Mayor Ranzo, Mayor Ing Moody, Representative Steele, Winthrop Town Council members, members of the Methow Valley School Board, North Central Washington Library trustees, Washington State Librarian Sarah Jones, retired Winthrop librarian Sally Portman, TWISP librarian Dawn Woodruff, and Winthrop librarian Ree West. Welcome. And welcome to all of you, our most honored guests. I'm so glad each of you are here to celebrate this historic day. I'm Jill Sheely, and I'm the Executive Director of Friends of the Winthrop Library, or FOWL, as we like to call ourselves. We're opening a library today. A library. A place of belonging, a place for refuge, a place for discovery, and a place to gather together. We're here because of the power of this community. Collectively, we brought this library to life. You'll hear from a few of the people and groups who contributed to this project, but there are many, many more who, in quiet ways, led to this day. This project has brought out the best in everyone. I could spend hours talking about each contribution, but I'd like to share a few words about a couple of these quiet warriors who represent this community at its best. Men of immense talent who would not want me to say these words, but I'm going to anyway. Construction Project Manager Peter Wallace. And Superintendent Ken Kinzel. The COVID-19 pandemic and the Winthrop Library construction period have run roughly parallel, with supply chain and labor issues creating daily drama. Peter kept things on track during a very stressful time with many deadlines, while maintaining a budget variance of less than 1%. Think about that. During a pandemic. Ken's ability to solve problems saved this project on countless occasions. Pouring the concrete foundation in a snowstorm under an enormous heated tent. Full-scale modeling of every custom steel fitting into the intricate exterior sunscreens. Complex site grading to make sure that water flows away from the building into natural swales and drains. Ken worked the last few months on crutches, enduring constant pain to see this project through. He's not here today because he's finally preparing for long overdue surgery. The entire Impel crew worked with care and pride to bring us this wonderful building. For everyone here who donated, who volunteered, who shared an idea, who worked, who dreamed, who advocated, who created, who led, and who followed, I thank you. We're here for a barn raising because of you. Before we begin the ceremony, I'd like to give you a brief update on the status of the project. As you can see, we're not quite finished yet, but we're close enough to open the doors for you to come inside, browse the collection, hop on a computer, and check out a book. Over the next few weeks, you'll see additions, adjustments, and final touches to the inside of the building, as well as to the outside. We'll have paved plazas, patios, and a parking lot with lights. Over the next several months, you'll see our outdoor library come to life with benches, art, lawn, play areas, a pollinator garden, and plantings that demonstrate Firewise landscaping. And within a year or two, you'll see solar panels added to the south roof that will provide sufficient energy to power the building, and then some. Today, we open the doors for you to explore your new library. You'll find all the things that you might expect in a library, and you'll find some things that may surprise you. Besides books, periodicals, and computers, our new library contains a makerspace open to everyone. Here, you can literally make things with your hands and with your brains. You'll find a large meeting room that can be divided into 2 smaller rooms where you can schedule and hold meetings, gatherings, and classes, all free of charge. You'll find special exhibits that will rotate from time to time. We're starting with the 5th season exhibit, where you'll see and hear from local community members describing their personal experiences with wildfire. You'll find Methow Valley historical exhibits by the Schaefer Museum. You'll also find a quilt show and auction featuring book-themed quilts created by local artists. You'll find information about our outdoor library plants with the opportunity to buy a plant. And you'll find special historical mementos available for purchase. Outside today, you can enjoy barbecue that will benefit the Kiwanis, cupcakes, games, arts, and crafts. The outdoor library table will be staffed with Firewise experts who will give tours. And you can visit Methow Nature Notes to learn about our local flora and fauna. And you can take a selfie with a couple of chickens. We'll continue to celebrate all week long with special events and activities every day of the coming week for children, teens, families, and adults. Robotic painting, a talk about beavers, and of course, story time among the quilts. You'll find the full schedule of events inside and also online at NCW Libraries. But today is day 1, and it's just the start. We get to make this library our own. So find your chair, get to know Ree, she's wonderful. Tell her your favorite author, and help us create a collection that reflects our unique interests and values. Sign up to plant a shrub or a tree in the outdoor library. Schedule your group to meet in a community room. This is our space. Let's make it our own. FOW formed as a nonprofit in 2017 to design, fund, and build a new library. In a few days, we will gift the building in this adjacent property to the town of Winthrop, which is led by Mayor Sally Ranzo. Mayor Ranzo took office in 2017 and was re-elected in 2021 to a 4-year term. She has supported this project from the very beginning, and we are thankful for her guidance, tenacity, and steady leadership. Mayor Ranzo.
All I have to say is wow. This is amazing. I'm going to try to get through this without crying, but if I do, please just stand by. In acknowledgement of this land, this library sits amidst the homeland of the Methow tribe. The native plants which will be planted in these surrounding gardens will symbolize our community's appreciation of the Methow stewardship of this land since time immemorial. It is hard to believe 5 years ago we were convincing Val Varney that the town of Winthrop should purchase her corner lot on White Avenue in Norfolk, the location of this new library. Thank you, Val, if you're here. The town of Winthrop is grateful to FOW for their tenacity and commitment. This is a huge undertaking for a volunteer organization, but the result is absolutely beautiful. Thank you all, the donors who believe in libraries and showed their love for the town of Winthrop with their gifts and grants. One of the beauties of this new library is the library is not solely a tourist facility. Yeah. As you all know, we are a tourism-based economy. So this is huge and rare opportunity for us. This new library is a place for our community to gather and learn. It is for the residents of Winthrop and our extended community. It is for everyone who calls Winthrop home. We have come a long way. This would not have happened without all of you. The Winthrop Library finally has a beautiful new permanent home. Friends of the Winthrop Library and North Central Washington Libraries, the town of Winthrop sincerely appreciates and thanks you for this amazing gift. Let's just all enjoy this beautiful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Ranzo. Next, we welcome Representative Mike Steele. Mike co-authored the state grant for libraries and specifically wrote language directing $2 million for the construction of the Winthrop Library as the ranking member of the Capital Budget Committee. Representative Steele.
Good morning. This is why I love my job. The days like this are truly an inspiration to legislators across the state of Washington. And I'll tell you that groups like FOWL are the reason that I co-authored that grant program. I truly believe that libraries are the cornerstone of communities. And you can't have a vibrant community without a place like this library. And it's evident today by all the folks that are here and by the stories we're going to hear and by the great accolades that everyone has already mentioned that this place is going to be well used. It's going to be well loved, and it's going to create generations of learners, which I think is so important for all of us in Washington to remember. Again, FOWL served as this inspiration, creating a $15 million grant program that communities just like Winthrop can access and build libraries like this one, something that small communities, rural communities, communities all over North Central Washington and beyond can be proud of, just like all of you are. I'm proud to serve as your representative. I was proud to work alongside FOWL in your community to create this opportunity, and I look forward to the many years of joy and prosperity and education this place is going to provide for Winthrop. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Steele. Well, this whole project began with a chat at a birthday party between the late Ken Westman, John Hayes, and Shannon Polson. They said something to the effect, "Wouldn't it be nice to have a library next to Little Star?" That friendly discussion led to a long series of events that brings us here today. So I'm very happy to introduce the Force. FOWL Board Chairperson Shanna Polson.
I remember the high wingback leather chairs in the quiet reading room of the Lusak Library in my hometown of Anchorage, Alaska. Ken Westman told me how fondly he remembered walking in the doors of the Ballard Carnegie Library during his childhood. Another of you told me about the quiet place in the stacks where you studied. Another, how the library was the only place that his mentally disabled brother felt welcome and treated just like everybody else. What do you remember? A library is the heart of a community, the place where both individual lives and our collective lives meet and take flight. We're here this morning because you had dreams for our community, and we worked together to make it happen. What memories will you make in this space that we share? What memories will your children and your grandchildren make? What memories will the child make who comes here as a safe, well-lit place and has no other safe place to go? What memories will the elder make who lives alone? And how might all of these come together? Libraries are the last holdout of truly democratic institutions, a space that is free for all, where everybody is welcome. It is also one of the only places where we say that books and ideas matter. As many things as a library has become, the core of the library is and must remain books, ideas, and community. Those things that ensure our collective humanity. They're the foundation of our civic life, and there is very little more important. It's one thing, though, to have an idea. It's another to have a vision. What is most difficult is to bring that vision into reality. From 2017 to 2018, the Early Board conducted community conversations and established this nonprofit, but we also started building relationships in Wenatchee, with our state legislatures, with the town of Winthrop, and with NCWL. We lobbied for a land purchase by the town of Winthrop in late 2018. Architects and contractors were selected in early 2019, and we applied for and received the state grant. Thank you, Representative Steele. Our campaign kicked off in September 2019, and you have all been exceedingly generous. We broke ground in 2020, in the midst of COVID, with the incredible work of the Impel team. Today, we're opening on budget, and thanks to all of you, to our 1,000 donors strong and more, the library is paid for and ready to hold and foster the life of this community. But I want to highlight what Representative Steele brought up, because it's more than just our community that's benefiting. When I went to meet with Representative Steele about this state grant, he wrote the bill that benefits all libraries across the state of Washington. The Wenatchee Valley College partnership that is in discussion right now is now a possibility across the 5 county districts of the NCWL. And our work with NCWL helped to make financing available to all 30 of their district libraries. This library is, as anything worthwhile is, much bigger than we are. By far. Every member of this volunteer board knows the work that was required to bring this incredible resource to our community. And I remain in utter and complete awe of what each person has contributed. From Bruce Honsinger's steady hand, to Wendy Sims, the willing worker, and marketing maven, and by the way, event planner extraordinaire, Boo Turner, wow. We started out of the gate strong as we moved into the campaign. Jill Sheely, our exceptional executive director. This is our chance to clap for Jill. She joined us and started out of the gate sprinting, as was required. The late Mike Reel is very much in the heart and the soul of this library as well. Not only his work on the board, but his generous support, and as you walk inside, the fireplace. Shane Swanson managed the design and construction team with incredible aplomb. Harris Clark handles the financials and sustainability. Shar Alkire advised on governance and development. And last year, Craig Seasholes and Matt Hinckley joined to connect us more directly with schools and with education. This board has visioned and, importantly, been willing to do what was necessary to work together to support each other as a team, despite the challenges of the last 2 years, to make this vision of a civic center in our community a reality. Let's give a hand to our board, our all volunteer board. But it's more than just the board. As Jill said, there is no way to possibly name all of the people who have made significant contributions, but I'm going to mention a couple. Jeff Brown had just retired after building Little Star and volunteered his expertise in construction as the owner's rep over the course of this entire project. Mark Ryan supported us with legal requirements and enthusiasm throughout the entirety of the last 5.5 years. Margot Aspholm gave far more time and energy than she has been compensated for. And each one of them offered their skills and their energy in the spirit of abundance and the spirit of community, believing in our civic institutions as what makes the community whole. And there are so many more of you. This library is born from your heart and from your efforts. I added this in this morning, and I'm not going to skip it, because I want to thank my dad, who passed away 17 years ago, and my mom, who taught by word and example that to whom much is given, much is expected, who taught me never to make excuses, but to get the things done that needed to be done. And that meaning in life does not come from self-seeking, but in contribution. Finally, I could never have worked with this incredible team for so long and so hard without the support of my amazing husband, Peter. And our two amazing boys, Samuel and Jude. They gave of themselves in this effort in ways you'll never know, and they gave up whatever time and attention that they probably deserved me to give to them. Our community continues to grow and change, as all communities throughout human history have always done. This is nothing new. This is part of the human condition. The question is to ask, how will we change? What matters? And you know what? Our answer is this library, the building of a civic place at the heart of our community. That's our answer on how will we grow and change? How will we evolve? This is the answer of our community. Standing in front of this incredible building, we know it is not the building, but it's the life that it will house that matters. Toni Morrison said it best, that libraries are essential for community, and nothing even comes close. What lives will be changed by walking through these doors? Will it be yours? What do you remember? What memories will you make? Thank you.
Our library is a branch of the North Central Washington Libraries District, which operates 30 libraries throughout 5 counties. The town will own the building, and NCW Libraries will provide the staffing, the books, and the programming. NCW Libraries has been a key partner in this project from the very beginning and has moved mountains the last week to bring us this library. It's my pleasure to introduce NCW Libraries Executive Director, Barbara Walters. Barbara.
Thank you, Jill. I am really honored to be speaking here today and to follow along with you and all of these other speakers that invested so much into this community. I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for the hard work and dedication of the Friends of the Winthrop Library. So one more round of applause, please. Today, we also celebrate the history of the Winthrop Library and the legacy of Sally Portman and Ree West, whose passion to meet the needs of this community far outsized the space of the previous libraries. I'm also thankful for the ongoing and collaborative relationship that we have with the town of Winthrop and with Mayor Enzo. Thank you. I was having lunch with a new member of the community the other day. And if you know me well enough, you know that I'm going to ask those 6 words. Do you have a library card? Her answer was yes, of course. I don't feel like I'm a member of the community until I get my library card. How true is this? The library is where the community comes together to learn, to grow, and be curious, no matter our background, our socioeconomic status, whether we've just moved here or we're 5 generations in. The future impact of this space on individuals and the community as a whole is immeasurable. With librarian Ree at the helm, I know there will be countless new memories made here, from children who first experienced the magic of reading in the children's nest, teens who spark a love for STEM and the makerspace, and grandparents spending time with their little ones during story time, and so much more. But I'm also remiss if I didn't also thank many of the staff of NCW Libraries that work tirelessly in the background, including our collection development team, which you'll see is an amazing collection in there when you get to browse a collection and check out material. Our IT group, including our STEM librarian, Ash, who's here somewhere, and providing the amazing STEM room. Our public services team, including our communications team, Kim and Amanda Lawson, worked nights. Maybe a few tears were shed, I don't know. But we made it. And they helped make this reality today. And above all and beyond, Ree West, your librarian. Also, I want to thank her and her dedication to this project.
We welcome the future, heart, and soul of our new library, Ree West. Ree had some pretty big shoes to fill, and she's doing it with her own mark of humor, intelligence, and care for this community. Please welcome Ree West.
Probably won't come as a surprise to you that most librarians are not big fans of public speaking, but it's just friends, right? So it's all good. Okay, hang on. All right. So the most common question I've been asked by folks visiting the library over the last year has been, are you excited for the new library? Yes. And of course, my answer is yes. But the overarching feeling that I have kept experiencing this year is gratitude. Gratitude for the incredible amount of time and energy and expertise that FOWL absolutely poured into this project to make it happen and make it happen so incredibly beautifully. The sheer amount of work that the Friends Executive Board have given to this project for really the last 5 years is absolutely inspiring to me. I've also been filled with gratitude for the boundless generosity of all the private donors who gave to this library. This community has stepped up time and time again to support this project, and each time I feel so proud and so grateful to be a part of a community that has demonstrated very materially that literacy and intellectual freedom are values that we hold dear in the Methow Valley. And finally, I am grateful for the legacy left by those who worked before me at the Winthrop Library, particularly Sally, raise your hand, retired branch librarian Sally Portman, and the ultimate friend of the library, Gloria Spiewak. I think most of you know Sally and would agree with something that Gloria said to me the other day. Sally has the gift of making everyone feel special. And I can attest to that. When I got here in 2020, loads and loads of people welcomed me with true kindness. But as Jill just said, let me know in no uncertain terms that I had some big shoes to fill. During her 35-year career at the library, Sally hosted tons of fabulous programs like an Armchair Traveler series where folks got together to share pictures and experiences from adventures in fabulous destinations like Italy and Patagonia and Antarctica. And kids got to meet wildlife like live rattlesnakes and bats and beavers and connect with the natural world around them, and nobody got bitten even once. I'm kidding, the snakes were in cages, safety first. Sally, she shared with me recently that it was always her goal that every patron would feel like they were important to her, her staff, her volunteers, and to NCW Libraries. Sally, I've seen the evidence. You succeeded in your goal, and thank you for all of your service to your community. Just like in raising children, it takes a village to run a library, and for 40 years, the mayor of that village was Gloria Spiewak. In talking about Gloria, Sally recently told me she was my rock. And it's clear that she was not exaggerating, because for 40 years, Gloria worked as a substitute, she was a library volunteer, and she was on the board of Friends of Winthrop Library. And I hear that sometimes she was the entire Friends of Winthrop Library. Gloria was a tireless fundraiser, and she continually supported Sally with her characteristic calm, her positivity, her sharp problem-solving skills, and a great sense of humor. Whenever Sally was desperate for somebody to cover the library, Gloria was there. When it was time for the library to move from City Hall to Little Star, Gloria was there. And when it was time for the library to move from Little Star to the site by the Red Barn, Gloria was there. By helping with programs, running fundraisers, by staffing the library when needed, and by being someone that Sally could turn to for support, Gloria was a cornerstone for the success of this library. Thank you, Gloria, for your 40 years of service. For decades now, the Winthrop Library has been a place where people could gather, learn, and grow, and where, as a community, we model acceptance and respect for others. I am so grateful to Sally and Gloria for establishing these standards, because they are my values too. After the isolation of the last 2 years, I can't wait for us to start learning, growing, and gathering here. Are you ready to have some fun? Yeah. I'm so pleased to welcome you all to your new library. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ree. Next, please welcome poets Madison Williams and Greg Wright, who will share their original poems written especially for this day. You have the poems in your program, so please follow along.
My name is Madison Williams, and the poem I wrote is called The Library. I am from the library, from the books, the quiet. I am from whispering and smell of books. I am from that library, big and cozy, warm and calling. I am from the library, the books, and the quiet corners. I am from the library. Even alone, I am from those memories, in the library.
This is a word that letters built. This is a sentence built from words that letters built. This is a poem constructed from sentences that words made, of letters built. Books are collections of poems and other literature, works of fiction and nonfiction, originating from oodles of pregnant sentences conceived from letter-begotten words. Libraries are castles of magic whose foundations are not concrete and steel, but books, penned by mages and seers who conjure spellbinding stories, both fanciful and true, filled with fey ideas and dazzling diction summoned from sensationalist sentences, written with wondrous words lifted from letters well past your idlest imagination. Now I will divulge a secret. The world is full of miracles, marvels that we call libraries. And this is a library.
Thank you, Madison and Greg. Now we turn to veteran Harry Grant, U.S. Army Airborne. Harry led the fundraising campaign for the flagpole that we see here when we were budgeting. We had many line items in our budget, and somehow we forgot to include a flagpole in our budget. Well, Harry led the campaign to raise funds for this flagpole. Harry will be joined by Shannon Polson, U.S. Army, who will raise the flag, followed by Olive Frady, who will sing the national anthem.
Thank you, Jill. Good morning. Last winter, I got a telephone call from Shannon Paulson, who I now understand is known as the Force. And Shannon told me that the library, due to the tremendous efforts of Fowle and other people at Impel Construction, was nearing completion, but that there wasn't going to be a flagpole. And Shannon, my fellow Army veteran, asked me if veterans in the Valley would be likely to come together and find a way to fundraise and support getting a flagpole here for the community library. And we did that. And it was very, very difficult for me to say anything but yes when Shannon called that day in the middle of the winter. Some of you are laughing because you think that it's because she's the Force, but she was a helicopter pilot in the Army, and I used to get a ride from helicopter pilots often, but more importantly, I would sometimes get a ride out of places I really wanted to leave from helicopter pilots. And so I said yes, and we went forward with a key group of people here in the Valley who, just like me and Shannon, were citizen soldiers. Those individuals I'd like to recognize by name, and for those of you who are here, please stand and go to the flagpole so that you can help as Shannon and I raise the flag. Denny Weston, United States Army. Ron McCullum, United States Air Force. Mark Andreessen, United States Army. Gary Volberding, United States Army. Theodore Ted Wagner, United States Navy. Carl Egge, United States Marine Corps. And I understand that Iris Wagner will stand for both Carl Egge and her husband, Ted Wagner, at the flagpole with us. John Hayes, United States Marine Corps. Steve Peck, United States Marine Corps. Shannon Huffman Polson, United States Army. And my name is Harry Grant, and my work on this was for my colleague and fellow Army paratrooper, Ken Szymanski, who is from a small town called Colbert, Washington, very similar to Winthrop and Twisp. We served together in Vietnam. He didn't get to come back to enjoy these beautiful places where we all live. So with that, I'd like to also say that if there are some veterans in the audience whose name wasn't called, if you would stand briefly for audience recognition. I know there are a few. Peter. Thank you very much. And with that, Shannon and I are going to raise the flag of the United States of America.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Friends of the Winthrop Public Library has existed as far back as any of us can remember. And as Ree mentioned, Gloria Spiewak was Friends of the Winthrop Library for over 40 years. She and librarian Sally Portman worked together on countless occasions for book and bake sales, fundraisers, raising funds for summer reading programs, and so much more. So who better to cut the ribbon to open our new library than Miss Gloria? And now, we will follow librarian, patron, and maybe future FOWL board chairperson, Rumi A. Audet, into the library. Let's go.